All right, guys, I'm back at the range again, and I need your help. We're checking out again for the 416, so let's test them out. Finally got my hands on a Hux Flow 556K. This is the can I've wanted to run on this thing sort of since the beginning because, well, it's tan, it's small, and it's flow through. I've been on a flow through type kick for seems like a couple years now since it kind of really started becoming a thing. You've known, if you've seen my last video, a lot of my content really with the 416, I was running the Velos, and I got that originally when it came out. They since released a shorter K version, and I like the Velos. Like it's performed well for me. The problem with the Velos is it's heavy. And I'm going to compare a few different cans today. I'm going to have all the stats up. We're going to see them side by side, the weights, the lengths, all that stuff is going to be here today with some of the most popular cans. And I'm trying to figure out what is the best thing to run on the 416. And I got a mixture of flow through and some standard back pressure. So let's see what this thing likes. I have to make some adjustments depending on the can. But let's start out first with the Flow 556K. Now, the big thing about the 416 is it's heavy. I got a lot of stuff on here, so preferably I'd like a light can. And most people, I think, that really aren't in the know or, I don't know, expect a 556 gun to be subsonic. It's just not going to happen. I know that. I know that this thing is not going to be quiet or hearing safe with any of these cans. So I know the Flow 556 is probably going to be the loudest can I have here today. But I'm not really concerned with that. I'm looking at weight, and I'm looking at just overall size. Sound suppression and all that is sort of secondary, and it's not that big a concern to me. My biggest concern is just weight, and if I need to run it without ears in a pinch, I don't want to blow my ears out. So, all that being said, let's get started. All right, here we are with the Velos, my old trusty Velos. Much heavier, I already feel much heavier compared to the Hux. All right, so now we're moving on to the standard back pressure can. This is the Omega 36M in short configuration. This is what I was running initially first before I got the Velos. And I'm gonna have to run this on the suppress setting. Otherwise, it's just a lot of back pressure. So it's gonna dump a lot more gas to accommodate for that extra back pressure. Whereas the flow through, I have it on the not suppressed setting. So it's more even than just really beating up the gun and throwing that brass crazy. So we'll see what this is like on the suppressed setting. Looks like I'm gonna have to run it on not suppressed. Let's try it again. You can see the ejection pattern was more towards that like 2 o'clock. Looks like on this short configuration, if I run it on suppressed, it's not enough. Now, that being said, I am running low power PMC bronze. PMC 223 bronze is probably the lightest load 223 you can find on the market. So when I tuned this, I wanted to make sure it ran on everything. So it's tuned to be able to cycle 223 PMC bronze with no suppressor, run reliably and lock open. With the can, you can see it's running hotter with that extra back pressure on the not suppressed setting. Suppressed setting with bronze is not enough. Now if we bump that up to full power 5.56, like a Winchester or something like that, I would have to put it on the suppressed setting, otherwise it's way too much. Let's continue on down 25 and 50 with the 36M. All right, so the last can we have out here today is the new hotness from Q. This is the Southpaw. This is a blowback. This is going to be a little lighter. It's got some Inconel. It's got some steel, more robust. All this cool stuff that they say it does in all of their info. I would say I watched their video on this compared to other cans. Performed well. Check that video out if you want. They had a lot of technical data and stuff in there, DBs and things. Performed really well. So curious what it's going to be like on the 416. Now everything here today is on the same gun, 11-inch barrel. A lot of people I've seen do tests, even Q has been on a 16-inch barrel, so everything here is on 11-inch. 11-inch is loud in general, so you're taming a lot of stuff here on 11-inch with the suppressor, so you're going to get different readings, different dBs on a 16 than you're going to on an 11. So I turned this to the suppressed setting again to see if that helps. This is a blowback can, not a flow-through can, so let's see what that's like. Wow. I didn't get lock open on the last round. You can see it was pretty like 330-ish, a little bit of 4. Sounded, just off of that, I mean, it sounded nice. Guys, 5%. Monadnock Firearms is hooking it up. Anything over $100 gets you that discount code SteveMP5. Link to their Instagram will be below. Check them out. All right, guys, there it was. Having some trouble with the suppressed setting with the Southpaw. It would run, then it would hiccup, failure to feed, failure to lock open. So that last round at 50 yards with the Southpaw, it was pretty much a single shot. I could have turned it back to not suppressed, but I just kind of wanted to keep it as consistent as possible. Probably should have, seeing that I did with the 36M, but just based on my ear and not seeing it back to back yet in the video, it sounded like out of the blowbacks of the 36M and the Southpaw sounded better. It felt like it was a lighter recoiling, even when it was running. And you know, gassing issues, you know, depending on how you're running it. But I really did like the Southpaw for this, even though it is blowback. Sounded pretty quiet, did better than I thought it would. But it is a thicker can, a little wider diameter than the 36M. 36M is a little more streamlined, a little thinner. So, you know, that probably aids in getting a little more sound suppression out of this guy. If I was gonna run full power 5.56, I would definitely have to run this on the suppressed setting with the blowback guns. Just 223, PMC Bronze 223, like I said, is probably the lightest recoiling, just regular target load stuff you can get. So if your gun will run reliably with PMC Bronze 223, depending on how your gas is set up, if it's direct impingement, you know, I guess it really doesn't matter, but on a gas gun like this, having the ability to tune your gas is great. This, if you're not familiar, didn't see in my other videos, it has different plugs that you can change the vent hole diameter to tune it even more. So I've done that on this, and then I have both the not suppressed and suppressed setting. Real quick, let's run the Southpaw in suppressed setting with Winchester 5.56 to show you the difference in how it's going to run. As expected, ran perfectly. Perfect setup for this Southpaw, suppressed setting 5.56 to make sure it's going to run reliably, but it will run in not suppressed on 223 as well. Again, it's just knowing your gun, knowing your setups. So all right guys, help me out in the comments below. Which can do you think should live on the 416? I have my favorites for different reasons. Aesthetically, it's the Hux 5.56K, gives you that tan, complete tanadized look. But man, I'll tell you what, the Southpaw sounds pretty good, and it's just a little bit heavier. Again, check the stats out, tell me what you think. But I'm liking the Southpaw, but I think I gotta go personally, just off of this today, and knowing the stats, I think it's got to be the Huxworks 5.56K in tan to complete the look and give it that full feature tan action. Even though it's louder, I'm losing some sound suppression. I don't know. I think the cool factor is most of the battle. All right, guys, don't forget Steve MP5 on the Instagrams. See you next time.